Hi everyone, in this video I am going to teach you how to solve equations that lead to a quadratic equation. Okay, so before I give you the examples, I have 6 here for you. These are just reminders and the things you need to remember in solving those equations that lead to quadratic equation. First, if you see a parenthesis like here, we have 2 times x minus 4. You gotta distribute that to, you have to use the distributive property of equality. So basically what you want to happen is remove the parenthesis. Okay, and then when you see a fraction, it looks complex if an equation has a fraction. So what you will do is undo that fraction by multiplying the equation by the denominator or the denominators. Okay, so here, like in my problem, in this example rather, I have 2 over x minus 1 equals 4. This problem will become easier or looks simpler if there's no denominator. So to remove that denominator, what we usually do is multiply both sides by the denominator. So if we do that, we can cross out that denominator, and that gives us only with an equation that doesn't have a fraction. Now, once you do those two things, after you did those two things, you have to remember this another two things. Okay, the first is you need to transform the equation into ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, because that's what we are expecting to happen in this lesson. The equations will be converted to the quadratic equation, and then of course the last step is to solve the quadratic equation using factoring, using either factoring or the quadratic formula. So if it's factoring or if can be factorized, use factoring. If it's not factorable or it cannot be factorized, use the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's go to the first example. Again, here we have a fraction. Like what I said earlier, this problem looks easier if there's no fraction. So get rid of that fraction. So we have 9 over 6 minus x by multiplying both sides by the denominator. Okay, so we can cross that out, and this will give us 6 minus x times x equals 9. But this time we have a parenthesis, and we don't want that in an equation. So we will distribute that x to 6 minus x. This will become 6x minus x squared equals 9. So now we don't have a fraction and we don't have parentheses. We need to transform this into the standard form of linear equation, or quadratic equation rather, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, which means I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. This will be equal to, I will now rearrange all the terms, and I will put that leading term here on the left side, plus 6x minus 9. Now, as you can see, our leading term here is negative, and what I usually do is I make it positive. So what I will do here is I will multiply that by negative 1. This will be equal to x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. So this is what we want to happen. Okay. Next is we just need to solve this. The question is, of course, can we factor out this one? Okay, so think about two numbers that when multiplied, the answer is 9, and when added, the answer is negative 6. That's right. So these can be factorized. So therefore, the factors are negative 3 and negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. If you add those two numbers, the result is negative 6. And then solve for 0. Equate both factors to 0, then solve for x. So x minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 on both sides. That will give us 3. This we have x minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 on both sides. Therefore, x equals 3. Same, right? Okay, so let's go to the next example. Here we just have a parenthesis, so that means we just need to distribute that. So this will be 3x x squared minus 15x plus 16 equals negative x. And of course, the next thing we will do is to transform this into the standard form. We still have a negative 6 on the right side of this equation. So I'm going to add x on both sides. Nope, not there, here. So I can cross that out. 3x squared minus 14x plus 16 equals 0. Now, of course, you might be thinking, can this be factorized? What I usually do if a is not equal to 1, or if a is greater than 1, I use quadratic formula. Okay? So let's use quadratic formula here. A equals 3, b equals negative 14, and c equals 16. Okay. So quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a equals, this is negative 14 plus and minus square root of negative 14 square minus 4 times 3, which is a, times 16 all over 2 times 3. So this is equal to 14 plus and minus square root of 196, right? 14, negative 14 times negative 14, that's 196, and then minus 4 times 3 times 16, that's 192 all over 6. This is equal to 14 plus and minus square root of 4 all over positive 6. And of course, we all know that the square root of 4 is 2, so 14 plus 2 over 6. And then the other one is 14 minus 2 all over 6. This gives us 16 over 6, and we can simplify that. The answer is 8 over 3 here. And then the other one is 12 over 6, which is equal to positive 2. Oh, right? So those are the, oh, what happened? Those are the answers. Okay? Next. So again, here we have a parenthesis. You know, we just need to distribute that. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. I think this is very easy. Think about two numbers that when added, the answer is 4, and then when multiplied, the answer is 4. That's easy. Okay, so we're just thinking about 2 here. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. Obviously here x plus 2 is equal to 0. And then we subtract 2 on both sides. That will give us this. Okay, that will also give us negative 2. They are the same again, identical. Okay, easy, right? Let's go to the next one. And again, here we have a fraction. So, like what I mentioned earlier, this will look like a lot simpler if we don't have a fraction or we don't have a denominator. So what we will do is multiply both sides by x. So we can cross that out. This will be x times x plus 3 equals 3. Okay. Right? And then distribute that. X squared plus 3x equals 3. And then subtract 3 on both sides. This will give us x squared plus 3x minus 3. Okay. Now, can we factorize this quadratic equation? What do you think? Yeah, this cannot be factorized, so obviously we will be using the quadratic formula again. Okay, so a is 1, b is 3, and c is negative 3. Okay, so I will write the formula here so you will be reminded of that. Okay, so let's do the substitution here. This is negative 3 plus and minus the square root of 3 square minus 4 times 1 times c, negative 3, all over 2 times 1. So negative 3 plus and minus the square root of 9 plus 4 times 1 times 3, that is equal to 12, right? That's 12 over positive 2 equals negative 3 plus and minus the square root of 21 over 2. Okay, so what is the square root of 21? What is the square root of 21? There's no square root of 21, right? So well, it really depends on your teacher. So let's say your teacher will tell you, okay, so I will accept that. That's the answer already. So you can keep that as your answer. Or you can, convert that square root of 21 into decimal and then proceed with the decimal answer. So it can be like this, okay? So I will encircle this, or you can express this into decimal. So or negative 3 plus, okay, let's find the square root of 21. So the square root of 21 is equal to square root of 21. Okay, that's 4.58. Okay, 4.58 over 2, and then the other one is 3 minus 4.58 divided by 2, and that will give us negative 3 plus 4.58 divided by 2. That's 0.79, and then the other one is negative 3 minus 4.58 divided by 2, negative 3.79. So, and of course we will use the approximate symbol here. Again, this one depends on your teachers. So some teachers will tell you, okay, I will accept that negative 3 plus and minus square is 21 over 2. And other teachers will also tell you that convert that into decimals. So it's really up to your teacher. Okay, so just ask your teacher what they prefer. Is it the radical form or the decimal form? Okay, so let's go now to the next example. So here again, this problem looks like, oh, this is really complex, but let's see. So x squared plus 1 equals 1 minus 5x over 2. Again, just multiply both sides by positive 2 because you want this to be simpler, so we can get rid of that. That leaves us 1 minus 5x here on the right side, and then 2 times x squared plus 1. Let's distribute that. So 2x squared plus 2 equals 1 minus 5x. And of course, we need to transform this into the standard form of quadratic equation. So minus 1 plus 5x, okay, or 5x here minus 1. It's the same. So cancel. That's 0. So 2x squared plus 5x. 2 plus negative 1 is positive 1. Okay. So again, I usually use quadratic formula here for the third time in a row. Let's use the quadratic formula here. There we go. So a equals 2, b equals 5, and c equals 1. So negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, or all over 2a, equals negative 5 plus and minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, c is 1, over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 This is equal to negative 5 plus and minus the square root of 25 minus 4 times 2 times 1 is 8. This is 4, right? Equals negative 5 plus and minus square root of 17. And again, there's no square root of 17. So some teacher will tell you, okay, so I will accept that answer. Some teacher will tell you to convert that into decimals. So again, it really depends on your teacher, their preference. So let's just continue this for the sake of having another answer. So square root of 17, what is that? That's approximately 4.12, right? So let's put negative 5 plus 4.12 over 4. And the other one is negative 5 minus 4.12 all over 4. So that's equal to negative 5 plus 4.12 divided by 4. Approximately negative 0.22. And then the other one is negative 5 minus 4.12 divided by 4. That is approximately negative 2.28. Okay, so that's how we solve this problem. Okay, let's go to the last example now. Again, this looks like complex because of the denominator, but let's see what we have here. So I will multiply both sides here by x. Okay, so I can cross that out, that will give me x plus 3 here. Okay, and then I will multiply, I can cross this out first, and that will leave me negative 5 here. And then multiply this x to x plus 3. There we go. So now my next move here is to multiply this x to x plus 3. That gives me x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals x plus 3. Okay? And then what's next here is I will subtract x and subtract 3 on both sides. So we can cross that out. This will give me 0. This is x squared plus 2x minus 8. And I think this can be factorized. We don't need quadratic formula here. Finally, okay. So think about two numbers that when multiplied, the answer is negative 8. And when added, the answer is positive 2. So that means we're talking about positive 4 and negative 2, right? Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Positive 4 plus negative 2 is positive 2. And then equate both to 0. So subtract 4 on both sides. This gives us negative 4 here. And then here x minus 2 equals 0. Therefore, this gives us positive 2. So these are the two possible answers, or these are the roots of this quadratic or this equation right here. Okay, so that's it. That's how we solve equations that lead to quadratic equation. Okay, so thank you for watching. I know that's a lot of examples, but I hope you learned something.